Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode in Adventures of Comprehension. My name is Ciera Harris. Today though, we're going to be talking a lot about the mind, and we're going to be talking specifically about some different mindsets that I believe all reading teachers should have in order to be successful. So we're going to jump in, but before we do, make sure you comment below and say hello. Let me know where you're from and what grade you teach. All right, so we're going to jump right in. I have 6 different mindsets for you. Reading teacher mindset number 1 is that all students are readers. That is the number 1 mindset. If you don't walk away with anything tonight, this has to be it, okay? This has to be it. You cannot teach students to read if you do not have this mindset. All students can be readers, period. Drop the mic, end of discussion, walk away, right? All the things. So there's no such thing as a person or a student who doesn't like to read. They just haven't found the right book yet. Honestly, there hasn't been that perfect match to really spark that love of reading. Okay, the right book will change the complete trajectory of a reader. So you have students in your classroom who they just haven't found the right book yet. So why is this the number 1 mindset for teachers, for elementary reading teachers or reading teachers in general? This is it. This is the number 1 mindset. So why? Because this should be our mission. This is why we are doing what we're doing right now. This is why we're in the classroom. We don't want to just help our students learn how to read. We want to turn our students into avid readers, right? Can I get an amen? Sorry. Anyways, this is how they become lifelong learners, by being in love and falling in love with reading. So I have to have the mindset that all students can be readers, and that when I have students come into my classroom and they're presented with challenges or barriers, we just have to figure out what those barriers are and get through them. They can be gotten through. We can get rid of those barriers. It can be done. If we do not believe that we can help make all of our students turn into readers, then it becomes clear in our actions. It's very obvious in our day in, day out actions that we have or we do in our classrooms. Mindset number 2 is that change is welcome. A strong reading teacher knows that change is inevitable. They know that my year to year, they should not look the same. And they shouldn't, because your students are different. You have a different set of students coming in. Therefore, your year should look and feel differently. Strong reading teachers don't settle for this has always worked. Well, you know what? Has it though? Has it? Let's really talk about that. I would love to see your data from, 15, 20 years ago. Let's see if it really did work. Or did it work for the majority of your students? And it's still working for the majority of your students, but that's not all of your students. Now, we're not doing change just for the sake of changing. We're changing where and when it's needed, where data is showing that it is relevant and needed and something else needs to happen. These teachers, they don't complain with new professional development, new releases of new learning, or advices being given to them from an admin, a co-teacher, or a coach. They know that what they are getting and giving is going to be the best of the best of the best. So we're on number 3, and number 3 is that relationships are foundational. Students can't learn from people who they don't know. Students cannot learn from people who they don't trust. To them, it's just a stranger carrying or saying words to them, and it goes in one ear and right out the other. When we take time to build those relationships from the start, from day 1, we are laying a foundation of trust, of support for our students, and open communication as well between the teacher and the student. So we know that reading is a very vulnerable action. There are many insecurities that play into reading. And when students don't have a strong relationship with their teacher, then those insecurities take over even more. Okay, so if I'm already nervous to read aloud, if I'm nervous to answer questions because I don't really understand what I'm reading, now add that on top of pressure and anxiety with a stranger, a teacher who I really don't think likes me, or who, maybe gets mad because I don't understand, or who really doesn't talk to me much outside, maybe in that small group and calling on me like once or twice a day. That's about it. Do you think they're going to be open and vulnerable with all of the things that happen in your reading class? Absolutely not. So it is so much more important for reading teachers to have these relationships than I think any other teacher in that building. Hey everyone, so sorry to interrupt, but I want to make sure that you are loving the content coming from Ciera Harris Teaching on YouTube. So make sure, if you are loving this, to subscribe and also like and comment below. I would love to hear from you. Mindset number 4 for reading teachers is students do not equal levels. Guided reading levels, we know, were not designed to be assigned to students. They were not. Levels are designed to show specific reading actions or reading behaviors that are done in the scope and sequence of comprehension. They were designed to showcase these different levels or layers of thinking needed as students progress through their grade levels. These are an instructional tool. That is it. That's all they need to be using for. Instructional tool for small groups. They're not a label for students. Okay, students should never really know what level they are on. They don't need to know that information. What it does is it creates a comparison, it creates competition, and that's the kind of culture you want in your classroom. It's not true. You don't want that. And it only results in defeat and for some and success for others. But this is a mindset that is not only for you, but your entire school needs to adopt. Everyone in your building needs to have this mindset if they teach reading. From administration all the way down to teachers. It's so important. The school culture needs to be about supporting readers' habits and behaviors through their reading levels, rather than giving levels to students directly and to identify with. Mindset number 5 for reading teachers is to have purposeful and methodical thinking. Like, their mindset needs to be that everything I do is with a purpose and it's methodical, meaning I have thought through it and it is intentional and I'm doing it for a reason. Or some teachers are like CIA analytics. Like, they are meticulous with data. They're strategic with their planning, right? They're a little too type A. Hi. And their execution of their lesson plans, they're organized with knowledge and materials. Those are the teachers who are very methodical and very purposeful with their actions. Now, do you have to be completely organized to be this way or to have this mindset? No. Do you have to have everything together to have this mindset? No, not everything, but certain things you do. So strong reading teachers know that they can't just slap down any, Joe Schmo lesson plan in their book and ta-da, we're going to have amazing results. It's not the way it works. We need to know our students. With every student in every class, they all have different areas of strength. They all have different areas of weakness. And then we all have different interests as well. And we put everything together. It takes really strong lesson plans. It takes really a lot of time. It takes effort. And it takes a lot of thought to put together a lesson plan that's really going to have the biggest bang for its buck. Now, I can put together a whole bunch of, C lesson plans, C- lesson plans, and maybe over time we're going to see growth. But if you adapt the mindset of I'm going to be purposeful and methodical about my lesson planning, then I'm going to put a lot more effort into that. Then you're going to see even more bang for your buck, right? This is where you get the magic of growth. It's a burden that we are proud to bear sometimes because we do it for our students. And so the mindset that we need to make sure we have is that when I am planning, I am being purposeful and I am being methodical. I'm going to use data. I'm going to look at behaviors that my students have and figure out how I can adapt my lesson plan to be able to support them and move them forward. All right, we're ready for the last one. Number 6. Mindset number 6 is that reading is thinking. It's a mindset that I know not all reading teachers have. I think many of us get it, and we get into this rut, right, of this black and white part of reading. Things like decoding is very black and white. Fluency is very black and white. We have our right there comprehension questions, which Don't get me started with those. They're a waste of time. We'll talk about that later. But all of those things are very black and white, and those things are easily measured. And we think that that is reading, right? We've got all the parts. That's reading, but that's not it. True comprehension is when students then can take that reading and apply themselves to it. Okay? They have to be able to put themselves into their thinking and then base their own conclusions from that. That is comprehension. That is reading. Let's just sum it up with this, right? Strong reading teachers know that even our lowest readers can be the most exceptional thinkers. It doesn't matter if the student is dyslexic and they take 3 times as long to read that paragraph. It doesn't matter. What matters is the deep comprehension that comes after it, the meaning that they make from those words. They know to dig deep where comprehension takes place and to skip over the easy questions. Don't waste your time on those right there questions. Regurgitating information is not comprehension. It's not reading. Okay? It's the conversations that students have with one another about events or connections that have happened or that are happening in the story. Conversations between students, those are just important as that worksheet that they have to do, if not more important. So the more emphasis that we put on the thinking when reading, the stronger our students will become. It's the most important mindset of all. If you have any questions about today's talk, you can leave a comment below, and I'm happy to go in and answer all of those. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will see you all next week for another episode, and until then, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.